Welcome back to Mac Talks of Football, and what a game of football it was between Hoffenheim versus Borussia Dortmund. The game ended up at 2-1 in favor of Hoffenheim, and it was a massive 3 points for them. And this basically means that Bayern Munich just need a point to win the title tomorrow in their game. So let's go ahead and talk about this game. It was not a really exciting game of football. It was quite a poor game of football, if I'm being very honest with you, because both the teams really did not have a go at it. Especially, I think Borussia Dortmund were really poor in this game. I think if there was one team who was trying to go for a win in this game, it was Hoffenheim. But it was nothing spectacular, if I'm being very honest with you. It was quite a boring game. It was it felt like a chess match for them for basically the entirety of that game. Both the managers trying to do something, but both the teams cancelling each other out. It was like both of them had equal share of possession, but none of them created that many chances. The Dortmund had their first shot on goal in the 87th minute, and that's when they equalized. Before that, they had like 3 shots on goal. That's how bad they played today. They barely created anything, even though they had the ball, like they had 60% possession, but they did not do anything. I personally felt like Dortmund players have accepted that the title is done, and they know that they are going to finish in the second place. So they are already in holiday mode, and some of them are going to go for the World Cup as well. So I personally feel like they are thinking like they don't want to they don't want to exaggerate, and they don't want to try that much hard there, so that they might get injured or something bad might happen, and they can it can hurt their chances for the World Cup. And I think that it showed in their performance that they really don't care, because they know the season is done and dusted, and everything is for them, everything is done. Hoffenheim, on the other hand, they knew how important this game was. It was one of their toughest fixtures in their running for those Champions League places. I thought it was going to be a lot more tougher for Hoffenheim, but for them it was not really that tough, if I'm being very honest with you. I don't think Hoffenheim played at that much better than Dortmund as well. I think both the teams were quite poor, but if I had to give it, like, it was a 55 to 45% advantage towards Hoffenheim. I think they were a bit better than Dortmund, but again, nothing spectacular. As I said, it was quite a bad game of football. Hoffenheim in the first half they get a penalty, and Akramovich steps up and he scores that goal, and it becomes 1-0 to Hoffenheim. And after that, it felt like mentally, as I said before, Dortmund barely did anything in the first half. They were so bad. Second half they started a bit well, but again nothing, and they let Hoffenheim control the game. They could let Hoffenheim control the tempo of the game. For the entirety of that match, it felt like if there was one team that was gonna score any goal, or some sort of action was coming, it was from Hoffenheim, because Dortmund barely did anything. It felt like the players were not interested. It felt like the fans were not interested. The manager was not interested as well, if I'm being very honest with you, because there nothing was changing. There was no it was so flat from Dortmund as well as Hoffenheim. I keep on saying Dortmund, but I at the same time it was a big game for Hoffenheim as well. But again, they really did not do something special. You can say that they saw that the opposition does not really care, so they really did not try hard as well. And the fact that they had already gotten a goal, they were leading, so they did not do anything. Kuresi comes in and scores that goal on the 87th minute, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, they did not deserve to get anything out of this game. When it became 1-1, I actually felt bad for Hoffenheim, because as I say, they were the one who were trying to do something, and who were trying to get a result in this game, but it becomes a 1-0, and you're thinking Dortmund got lucky, they got a lucky point, and then Bayern they sort of keep the title challenge alive, but it didn't last long, because yet another handball, and Hoffenheim get another penalty, and Kramovich steps up again and he scores again, and it becomes a 2-1 to Hoffenheim, and they win the game. And in my opinion, I think they deserve to win that game, even though it was not a good game of football. I think they were the better side. I think they created more. I think they showed more hunger as compared to Dortmund, and I think it was a fair result, and it was an important result for Hoffenheim. Huge 3 points. They needed that. Their form has been sort of going back, downwards at the last run, at the last part of the season. And for them to to qualify for the Champions League, they need a good result, and this is a massive massive results. They have the one of the toughest run-ins in as compared to the teams around them who are fighting to get into those Champions League places, fighting to get into the top four. They have one of the toughest run-ins because they are the only teams who are going to play one of the top two, and they have played that and they have won that game. So it's a big boost to them. And top of that, cherry on the cake for them is that Leverkusen lost that game. So not only have they won the game, not only have they gotten 3 points, one of their rivals has lost the game. So it's a big advantage for them. It's a great results for them, not only in their game but in their opposite game as well. Now they need to continue this. They need to continue this run, and it has been a fairy tale season for them. Nobody expected Hoffenheim to have such a good season, but they need to make sure that they end the season on a high as well. Not just there's still 4 games to go. A lot can happen in those 4 games, especially when their teams are so close and the point gap is so less. They need to make sure that they end the season on a high, and they need to continue. This game is going to give them a lot of confidence. It's going to give them a lot of boost. So I think it's going to help them in the remaining 4 games there. Dortmund, on the other hand, as I said, I think the players had already accepted that the title is done, and their performance showed that as well. I think it doesn't really matter to them because once you have accepted defeat, they don't really care. I think it was quite. What I want to use is a pathetic performance, even though there was I said in my prediction video that if Bayern Munich are to lose the title, they need to lose all their 5 games, and Borussia Dortmund need to win all their 5 games. But I felt like the Dortmund players had already accepted it, and their performance was really good. They have now lost this game as well. They are now 12 points behind Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich have a game in hand. So Bayern Munich just need a point tomorrow, and they are going to be the Bundesliga champions. They are going to retain their title. So for Bayern Munich, it's a great result. It's a great result for Hoffenheim. For Dortmund, again, I think I'm still a bit puzzled with the way that they played, because I really thought they would have showed more hunger, more desire. They would have tried to fight it, and that hunger and desire sort of came in the last 10 minutes. Before that, they were not really in that game. They did not care. The moment Guirassy scores that goal, it felt like the Dortmund players woke up. They suddenly realized, oh, we want to we came here to play a football match. Oh, we might end up winning as well. And it was a great goal from Guirassy. I'm not taking anything away from him. He gets the ball, he takes a touch, turns around the defender, loses him, and takes a great shot. And it was a good goal from him. But it didn't really matter to me, if I'm being very honest with you. And I think it didn't really matter to the Dortmund players as well, because I as I said, mentally I don't think they were there. I think some of them are already on holiday mode, and some of them are already planning their World Cup, and they're just making sure that they don't get injured in the last 4 games, and it doesn't ruin their chances to go to the World Cup. So a pathetic performance from Borussia Dortmund, and they have given the title away basically to Bayern Munich, but a massive win for Hoffenheim, and not a good performance from Hoffenheim themselves, but a massive 3 points for them in their race for those top 4 places in the race to qualify for the Champions League. That's it from me in this video. Let me know what you guys thought of the games, what you guys thought of Hoffenheim's performance, and do you think it is going to help them get into the top 4, or do you think it is still going to be hard for them? And what about Dortmund? What do you thought of their performance? Let me in the comment section below as well. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification button, and of course subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 600 subscribers before the end of the season, so please go ahead and subscribe and help the channel out. Until next time, bye bye.